one day we will look back in horror that the UK government, a so-called democracy, is standing with a violent apartheid and doing nothing about it. There will be war criminals in The Hague with Netanyahu if they don't change their policy right now. How could you see kids being slaughtered and not say a word of solidarity? How? How could you not feel angry? And if people say, oh, she's angry, that's the pro-Palestinian people. No, we're human beings and we are congruent. We are witnessing a genocide. I can't talk sweetly with sugarcoating everything. Israelis are not going anywhere. Palestinians are not going anywhere. So it's better that we all unite against a violent regime and get Netanyahu out of power and finally find a solution for peace.
This is a humanitarian issue. It's really not a religious conflict. We've got two sides here. We don't want death for anyone. We want peace on all sides. What I would like people to remember is that they're dropping white phosphorus, something that corrodes through metal and wood. And a lot of silence means you're complicit in that genocide. I think it's time that the UN Convention is respected, the Geneva rights are respected. As someone who's worked at the UN, as someone who's sat with all these countries, I see the hypocrisy right from the top down to the bottom, and I've had enough of it. This is something that is a human right. We have Christians, Muslims, Jews. We respect all of them. We want everyone to be able to live peacefully side by side. But with Israel's atrocities, it's clear that that's not their intention. So give the land back and give them their full rights. Not encage 2.2 million people in Gaza, with 1 million of them children, and half of them are under 15. It's absolutely disgusting.
There is nothing legal about this, okay? Nothing. The whole idea is to clear Gaza, kill innocent people, take more land, and it's wrong, okay? The solution to this is international law. The international... Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? They need to come in and say, stop, end it, finish. Okay, these are humans. People you see dying are humans like me and you. They go to school, they go to work. The journalists are being targeted. The hospitals are being targeted. They're told go from north to south and they get on trucks. Some are going and they're getting bombed. Some are saying, well, when we get there, there's nowhere to go. So we'd rather die in our homes than die in the streets, okay? All the hospitals in South Gaza are full. There is nowhere to go. What are they supposed to do? That is why I'm here, okay? This is against every human right, against humanity. You don't have to be pro-Palestinian, you don't have to be pro-Israel, you have to be pro-human beings, pro-humanity, okay? That is what this is about. Innocent people don't need to be killed like this. They shouldn't, this is a crime. What are they gonna, the Palestinians gonna go down in history books, you know? What, like the Native Americans? One day we're gonna read about it and have Palestine Commemoration Day. Oh, we're so sorry for what happened to them, boo-hoo. No, we can stop it now.
I would like people to remember that we are human beings. I would like people to know that currently right now there are children who are being starved to death with no water, no access to electricity. There are hospitals where babies that have just been born are slowly dying. I want people to know that right now what we are witnessing is a humanitarian crisis, and to be silent during a time like this, it says a lot. It says more than anything else.
Do you have family in Gaza yourself?
Yeah, so all of my extended family, my cousins, my uncles, my aunties, they're in Gaza, yeah. I've been speaking with them over the past few days, and every conversation, every single time I talk to them, they're more and more exhausted, more and more exhausted. And now I can't even talk to them anymore. The internet's off. I don't know what's happening right now. All I know is that it's a dire situation and that I may not be able to speak to my cousin next week. Now we know the true nature of these politicians. We know what it is that they prioritize. We know what it is that they hold dear. And it's clear to us that they do not hold human lives dear. Like, they don't care about these children dying. That, to me, I'm surprised. It really is a shock to be in this position, to have to remind the world that we are human beings. In this day and age, I think that, to me, is a disaster. I hope to be able to be with my family once more. My hopes for Palestine go beyond just whatever solutions people may provide. I want to be able to sit down and talk with my cousins. I want to be able to see them finish their exams. I want to be able to ask them how their day was. That's what I want to see happening, you know? That's what I want to see.
I think this oppression has been going on for a really, really long time. The Western media and the Western governments have always been very selective of what they say and what they show. I think this is a sign of year-old repression, and it's the bursting point. And I think the frustration of people has reached a climax, and it's to show that people are dying and starving and haven't got any resources to live anymore, and they just want freedom. And I think this is the crux of it. In most people's heart, there isn't any hate towards another man or another person. I think it's just down to the crux of it is just freedom. And I think this is what people are trying to show. Everyone is very peaceful at these things. And there is no hate in anyone's heart except against the apartheid regime. And this is the crux of it. So part of my family are Palestinian, not blood related, but the Beidas family, they were kicked out of Palestine. A lot of them have migrated all over the world. Here, the UK, the US, Lebanon. A ton of refugees have been in Lebanon for many years. The war with Lebanon is always slightly affected with the Palestinian conflict. In 2006, my sister and I were displaced from our home with the war with Israel. And right now there's tension on the border, so a lot of people are very, very scared, and we're scared that it's going to bubble over into Lebanon again and cause havoc within the country. Waking up every morning just checking the news is incredibly taxing on the soul, but it's nothing what people are experiencing in these places. We're scared to the core. I think the West have always come under this context of democracy and freedom, but it's freedom when freedom matters to the pocket, right? And right now we're being left behind. There's a huge Islamophobia. There's a huge feeling of tension between people of color. I don't think it's just necessarily an Arab thing. I think it's a wider scope, and right now it's just feeling left behind by the people that really should be protecting us. This government has been put in place. We want to live in peace, and this is it. We don't want to be segregated. We don't want to be put in camps. We just want peace, and we just want to live freely.
I'm fearful that hundreds and thousands of people are potentially going to be killed. And it's very clear that it goes against any sort of international norms or laws to cut off electricity and water. And for that to just have the green light and support of our government is terrifying. And that's why it's really important to be here to say that, I don't support it, and hopefully as many people as possible will be here to say that.
Well, the background of the situation is obviously the Israeli occupation that has lasted for many decades. In the Gaza Strip, people have been under siege for 16, 17 years, where the Israeli government and the Israeli state basically control everything. They control the air, they control the borders, they control the sea, they control what food goes in, what electricity goes in, they control the water system, they control who comes in and who comes out. And clearly they've said during this conflict at the moment that they were going to cut supplies of water, food, and gas. And this will impact every single human there, from child to elderly to women to disabled people to people in hospital to women that are pregnant to children that are in hospital. And it's just a horrific act. And this level of control, this occupation that also exists in the West Bank, people don't fully appreciate what it means, but it's effectively controlling the daily lives of every single Palestinian, where they can go, how they can travel, what they eat, what they study, when they can go about their lives and when they cannot. And it's a systematic system of oppression against our people. And the expropriation of land continues through force, through violence, by the Israeli military, by the settler system that is there. So it's not that the occupation is simply a presence of the military that is there, which is consistently oppressing the Palestinian people, but there's a continuation of land being stolen by force, people's lands, people's homes being taken by force, and that is the backdrop of what we're seeing here today.
Have you been able to stay in contact with your friends in Gaza?
It is very hard to stay in contact with people in Gaza. And honestly, just purely at a human level, you don't know what to tell people anymore. You don't know if certain people are still alive or not in Gaza. That is the reality. And sometimes I find it even hard to think of reaching out to somebody because I don't want to hear the news on the other side.
I feel a connection to this issue. My family lives in Israel, are Jewish, but have always felt that Palestine's been horrendously oppressed by Israel. And I think it's really important that we can decouple solidarity with Palestine from criticism of Judaism, which is a totally separate issue. And I think so often the right conflates the two. And it's really important that we can say, we can stand against the oppression of the people without anything else being required. I think that we can say that Jewish children deserve not to die, whilst also saying that Palestinian children deserve not to die. And unfortunately, this conflict's not an even playing field right now. So this voice really needs to be heard because, the majority of casualties over the course of the conflict of several, decades are Palestinian. This isn't an even playing field.